君は人生全部学校で習うんかい？
八軒君は逃げるということに否定的なのだね。その逃げた先で起こったこと、そこで出会った人、否定するものでしたか？
What if you could just go somewhere far away and leave all your problems behind? Would you do it? Hachiken Yugo is a really cool city boy who just fucking hates his parents. So he moves as far away from them as physically possible, which happens to be a few hours away in the countryside of the same prefecture. He didn't really think this decision through that hard, and he realizes that his life now consists of watching slaughterhouse recordings, eating eggs straight from the anus, and performing rectal exams on cows with his bare hands. And at this point you might be thinking, well Maki, so far you've shown me that this anime has the premise of my 10th grade biology class, grotesque scenes straight out of a veganism promotion horror documentary, and lots of absolutely traumatizing imagery. So why the fuck should I watch this show? Well, it has cute animals and interesting characters, and it's by the creator of Fullmetal Alchemist. The original manga is indeed created by the same mind that brought you FMA, Arakawa Hiromu. Even better, she actually grew up on a farm, so it's a very realistic depiction of the most interesting parts of the agricultural lifestyle. But it's also so much more. Firstly, the show is funny as fuck, and it's the only anime that I can rewatch like a million times, and it always puts me in a good mood afterwards. It's not funny in an LOL laugh out loud type of way, but more so in a has me with a dumbass grin on my face for entire episodes from start to finish type of way. But is a show about high school farmers really worth a watch? Well, I'ma try to convince you that this is one of my favorite anime ever and the most underrated gem you've likely never seen. So why Silver Spoon?
銀のサジだね。ヨーロッパじゃ生まれてくる子に銀のスプーンを送るんだって。その子が一生食べるのに困らないようにって。
Hey yo, this is actually a thing? The show explores different paths that adolescents take to secure their futures, their struggles in finding that path, and adapting to whatever curveballs life throws at them. Sometimes quite literally, but we'll get to that. With the many struggles of today's youth, I feel like this is more relevant than ever, and the show's messages are something everyone can learn from. A lot of people are even returning to this more natural, simpler lifestyle to avoid the stress of society, just like Hachigen does in the show. Okay, I'm obviously not saying you have to become a fucking farmhand to get your shit together, but there's something to learn from people who are just happy doing their thing, taking care of some cute animals, and just doing something they're passionate about. Hachiken starts the show off being extremely burnt out from the pressure his parents put on him, especially after his brother made it into Todai, the most prestigious university in all of Japan. He moves to the agricultural high school Ezono or Yezo or Oezono. Am I just dumb? I swear they change the name every time it comes up. The fucking fandom wiki page even has two different names right after each other. Anyway, he mainly decides to go here because they're a boarding school, which allows him to move out and live on his own, far away from his family. But he quickly learns about the other types of challenges that comes with this decision.
Pizza? それは聞き捨てならねえ。食いてえ。宅配でいつでも食えるだろう。うち宅配限界。うちも。うち携帯電波も届かねえし。うちなんて夕刊が翌日の昼に来る。ああ、デリバリー格差。
He's not as easy for them country folks. They don't have Uber Eats as their fucking emergency contact. If they want to have pizza, they have to drive for hours and hours. It does surprise me though that they can't even get pizza. Where I'm from, every minuscule little society in the middle of nowhere has a goddamn pizza place. No matter how far off grid you go. Like my family is originally from a tiny village with like 300 people, and there's a fucking pizza place there in the middle of nowhere in the Arctic Circle. God, Silver Spoon is just like Food Wars, where I have to be eating whenever I'm watching it. I'm pretty sure watching the Hachiken Makes Pizza episode without eating something is straight up against the Geneva Convention. Since Hachiken is a big city boy from Sapporo, he starts to show off kinda looking down on his country bumpkin peers. But he slowly learns that while they lack certain academic knowledge due to their unique countryside upbringing, their talents are instead extremely skewed, where they are insanely knowledgeable about other things like agricultural industries, economics, the cognitive behavior of animals, and even advanced science like fucking cloning, way beyond the level where Hachiken can easily study his way to. He finds himself in a weird mix of dissatisfaction from not being number one for once, but at the same time he's like, hey, I see you guys. Hachiken is very different from his schoolmates in a lot of ways. In his eyes, they all seem to have their futures completely figured out. Their paths are completely straightforward, while he doesn't even know what the fuck he wants to do. He has no dreams, no ambitions. They're all like, oh, I'm gonna take over my family's farm, or I dream of becoming a veterinarian, or I'm going to overthrow my parents, buy them out of their own business, and rule it with an iron fist to squeeze as much money as humanly possible with no regard for anyone else's well-being. Yeah, this girl scares me. They have something concrete to strive for, so their future plans are perfect, right? Nah, their futures are just as uncertain and scary, just in completely different ways. His best buddy Arakawa wants to become a vet, but he doesn't think he's cut out for it. So he has a dream, but he's uncertain whether or not he can actually achieve it. His love interest Aki's future is completely laid out for her, where her family just expects her to take over the farm because she's the only child, but she's like, fuck that, I wanna work with horses. However, Komaba is dealt the worst hand of them all. He actually has two different dreams. So he wants to become a professional baseball player and then use that money to restore his family's dying farm. His dad actually died a few years prior and left his family with a ton of debt. Originally, Hachiken kinda becomes a jealous little bitch baby when he learns that Komaba has multiple dreams for his future, while Hachi struggles to think of a single one. They often clash because of their different perspectives, but slowly as they learn about each other's circumstances, they actually start to root for each other. So Komaba needs to make it to Koshien, the national baseball tournament, as a first-year student, or he can't viably aim for a career as a pro under the looming threat of his family's debt. A situation which, let's be frank, fucking sucks. Their team actually makes it really far into the qualifiers when suddenly a gust of wind fucks his teammate over and it causes him to lose the entire game and be eliminated from the tournament, together with all of Komaba's dreams. Komaba did everything in his power and even fulfilled his role and set up his team to win. Then the wind messes with the ball and just like that, they've lost.
いつもここぞってところで瓜生さんが打ってくれたおかげで俺ここまで投げられたっすからありがとうございました。
It absolutely sucks. Being unable to reach Koshien leads to Komaba having to give up his baseball dreams and retire at the ripe age of 16. As his farm's debts are creeping up on them and his mother can't work enough alone to keep the farm running, Komaba is forced to leave school and start working already, both giving up his baseball dreams and his second dream of using his baseball earnings to revive his dying family business. It's actually heartbreaking to watch and it's incredibly unfair. Some people might be thinking, why can't he just try again next year? But unfortunately, Aki's family co-signed the Komaba farm loans, so unless he drops out and starts working right away to pay it off, they will be dragged down together by debt. After Komaba is forced to drop out, Hachiken sees the reality of being a farmer's kid, the role that he was so jealous of before. The grass is always greener on the other side. Hachiken is jealous of their determination, passion, and goal focus at such a young age. The other guys are also jealous of Hachiken's aptitude for school subjects, always taking first place, and his personal freedom to do whatever he wants with his life. This is just one of the dozens of life lessons that Hachi learns during his time at Ezono. I swear, every single person in this show is the fucking Dalai Lama incarnate, saying actual meaningful quotes in response to everything Hachiken goes through. I mean, this guy's literally drawn like Buddha. And it's not like deep Facebook quotes either that are just generic and cliche. Everything Hachiken learns from his teachers, employers, friends can be directly applied to a situation and give him perspective on whatever he's currently battling with. When Hachiken is upset that he feels stuck because he doesn't have a concrete dream for his future like Arakawa does, Arakawa just tells him that it's more fun to think of his future as open rather than stuck in place. He can do literally anything he wants, but he's so fixated on this idea of a perfect dream that he isn't exploring the endless potential that his future actually has to offer. This all kinda ties together with him coming to this school in the first place. He needs to experience something completely different and just try lots of different things to see what he actually enjoys doing. Hachiken joins the equestrian club because all of the school club activities have to be physical and it sounds like the most chill one, and also to spend some time with his crush Aki, of course. He even gets a part-time job with Aki's family at the Mikage family ranch. The stuff he learns during this short summer job equates to more real-life experience that he could ever gain through regular schooling. He struggles with anything that isn't described in detail through a textbook because that's all he's ever known. Hachiken even makes a massive mistake during his job, costing Aki's family a decent chunk of money. The Mikage family decides to pay Hachiken his full wage anyway and tells him to come back and work for them again.
バカはろくでもないものに金を使う。賢いやつは自分の成長のために使う。男の価値は金の使い方でわかるもんさ。
Damn, Granny! Granny's spitting bars. Money is a reoccurring theme in the show, and about how it impacts one's path in life. And how does Hachi spend his money? Well, to get to that, we first need to talk about Pork Bowl. He takes care of a lot of animals during his time at Ezono, but the most impactful by far is his piglet Pork Bowl. Hachiken struggles with the idea of raising animals in captivity, just to slaughter and eat them quickly after they've grown up. I mean, understandably, it's a tricky topic for a lot of people. He ends up naming a small struggling piglet Pork Bowl and takes it upon himself to raise it into a pig that can stand with the rest of them as a chunky boy worthy of, well, becoming breakfast. Pigs generally don't get much further than that in life. The other students with more experience are quick to point out that naming the livestock will make you get attached, but Hachiken does it anyway. The animals in Silver Spoon are hella cute, which is why it hits so hard when you get attached, just for the show to go, oh yeah, by the way, your favorite character just got grinded down and turned into the local ryokan breakfast buffet. As you can imagine, once his time is up, Pork Bowl turns into, well, pork. Hachiken obviously doesn't own the pig, it's school property. This is where his summer job pay comes in. He decides to buy Pork Bowl, but not as a pig. He obviously can't take care of an adult pig as a high school student. He pays to get the meat after his buddy is sent to Mr. Slaughterer. Although Hachiken kinda betrays his namesake and makes bacon instead of Pork Bowl, but I digress. The interesting thing about this whole arc is that Hachiken doesn't come to some grand realization about eating meat or anything. He even thinks about what it would be like to go vegetarian for a moment, but he knows he can't do it. What changes is simply that he's no longer ignorant to where it comes from and can impact the process positively to the best of his abilities. He's also down like 1 billion yen after his meat purchase. Hachiken's relationship with money changes a lot throughout the show. He starts off being like, money ain't a thing. He refuses handouts from his parents for anything. But after everything that's happened with Komaba, his summer job, the Mikage Ranch, he begrudgingly accepts money from his mom for new glasses. But he sends the rest straight to UNICEF. Speaking of his mom, she seems like the sweetest woman in the whole world. He gives her a fair bit of shit, some of it probably deserved, but her main offense is just not standing up enough to his dad. Hachiken's dad, this fucking Yakuza Mafia Don looking ass, sure does everything in his power to make his son feel worthless. He refuses to give any compliments to the bussin' bacon that Hachi made, and just says that he's wasting his time not going to some fancy prep school like his brother who got into Todai. Everything his dad does just serves to make Hachi feel small and worthless, and like his efforts don't amount to anything unless they follow his definition of success. But throughout his efforts of following his own path, he finds his own way of defining what success is for him. When Hachiken reads a note left by an attendee at the festival that he quite literally almost worked himself to death to set up, where they thank him for the fact that the event managed to cheer them up during a rough period, he just breaks down completely. He's actually holding in his hands concrete proof that his actions had an impact on someone else, that everything he's doing is worthwhile. Is Hachiken gonna work in agriculture once he graduates? Who knows? It's not the reason he was recommended this school in the first place. Hachiken was stuck in a mindset that a lot of young people have, where everything happening in school is the most important thing ever, while in reality it really fucking doesn't matter at all. When Ake's uncle asks him, it really hits home. So far, everything in Hachiken's life has revolved around what he learns in school, how he performs in school, etc. But a huge part of life is in-person experience. Experiencing life, learning from mistakes, learning from success, learning from trying new and scary things. So, why do I love Silver Spoon so much? Is it the fact that I grew up next to a potato farm? Maybe. Is it my secret love for Arakawa sensei? Probably. Is it the fact that it's a really well-made show with great humor, great characters, and tons of real-life takeaways? Yeah, that's it for sure. Now go out there and fucking live on a farm or something, I don't know. Okay, thanks, bye.